One special part of eating at the ballpark is that your options go beyond the classics like hot dogs and peanuts and unique local foods. Up until now, I've covered both of those, but I haven't talked about the various unique and massive calorie-filled creations that teams use to lure people with iron stomachs in through the door. These include anything from 2-foot-long hot dogs to dishes piled with every topping you could possibly imagine. What better way to start our journey than with potentially the most infamous ballpark creation ever, the Pittsburgh Pirates Cracker Jack and Mac Dog. A jumbo hot dog on naan bread, topped with macaroni and cheese, jalapenos, salted caramel sauce, and of course, Cracker Jack. It was such a strange combination of flavors that it baffled fans and the internet alike, still to this day. Is putting all these disparate flavors together as questionable of a decision as trading Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow for Chris Archer? Let's try making it and find out. We'll start with the dough for the naan bread. Dissolve 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar in 1 cup of warm water and let it sit for 10 minutes or until it's frothy and bubbling. While the yeast is proofing, in a large mixing bowl, add 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and whisk that all together. Add in 1/4 cup of yogurt and 1 large egg before adding in the water and yeast mixture and bring it all together. Flour your work surface and knead your dough for 5 to 10 minutes until the dough is smooth and stretchy, but still slightly sticky. Grease up a mixing bowl in your ball of dough and put the dough in the bowl covered by a towel. Let it rise for an hour or until it's doubled in size. After rising, punch the dough down and divide into 8 pieces. Roll each piece of dough out with a rolling pin until it's round and flat, about 1/4 inch thick. Heat up a cast iron pan on high and cover it with oil or ghee. Cook each piece until it bubbles up on the surface, then flip and repeat on the other side. Our next step is to quick pickle some jalapenos. Slice up 6 jalapenos. In a pot, combine 1 1/2 cups vinegar, 1 1/2 cups water, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 3 tablespoons of salt. Bring it to a boil and whisk until the salt and sugar are dissolved, and add the jalapenos with 3 smashed cloves of garlic. Turn off the heat and let that mixture cool. For our salted caramel sauce, heat 1 cup of granulated sugar over medium heat, stirring constantly until it melts together into a thick liquid. Add in 6 tablespoons of butter and keep stirring until it melts together. Slowly stir in half a cup of heavy cream until it's fully combined and let it cook for a minute before turning off the heat and stirring in 1 teaspoon of salt. The mac and cheese on this dog appears to be a pretty classic version, so I'm going to use Serious Eats 3-ingredient mac and cheese. Put 170 grams of macaroni in a pot and add water and a pinch of salt until it's just covered. Bring it to a boil and cook until the water is completely absorbed. Add in 180 milliliters of evaporated milk and bring it back to a boil. Finally, add in 170 grams of grated cheddar cheese, reducing the heat and keeping stirring until the sauce is thick and creamy. Finally, for our jumbo hot dog, fill a pan with about 1 inch of water. Bring it to a boil over medium-high heat and add the hot dogs. Keep rotating them frequently until they're nice and cooked through. Put your hot dog on the naan bread and scoop over some mac and cheese. Add in a few pickled jalapenos and sprinkle the dog with a handful of Cracker Jack. You can use store-bought, but if you want to make your own, check out my other video on how. Finish it off with a drizzle of caramel sauce and take a bite of this strange experiment. Honestly, I was ready to be grossed out, but it actually tastes a lot better than I expected. I'm not a fan of some of the individual flavors involved, but they all come together in a nice sweet and salty combination.